Huh? Okay.
Everything.
So let's feed this. One's ready to go. A cup of coffee and then I want to hear a deer speech.
Oh, he's already scanning you.
No, the icebreakers are always the most interesting because
Yeah, I know. Easy, easy.
it's your first glimpse into a person's story. And everyone has an interesting story, believe it or not, except for me.
What?
A boring white guy from Ohio comes to California, blah, blah, blah.
Working guy from Ohio.
Everybody in this room has a more interesting story than me. That's why I like hearing it.
So we don't have evaluators.
We have Adolfo will be one.
Why are you looking at me?
Actually, yeah, I think that'd be good, Beatrice. If you
Oh,
do
and
an
then
evaluation.
if I say something negative, she's going to.
No,
So it's
I
better.
honestly don't. I'm not like
It's
that.
okay. I know how to do CPR.
I'll do that, I
Or,
can do that.
or if Jesse wanted to double, because the evaluation for the icebreaker is really pretty simple. It's just, what does a person bring into the table already? What kind of speaking skills do they already have? And what things do you want to see them improve on? It's just like two positives and then two suggestions for improvement. That's all.
We're going to do hers? Okay.
I think you can handle
You
that.
brought your book? Okay. You need a book? You can take mine.
Can I have a book?
Yeah, use mine.
Well, I have my own.
Okay.
Then you'll find a separate piece of paper.
Last time I brought, I didn't even use it, so I didn't bring it.
Oh, yeah, this is there.
All right. Well, I think we got everything covered. And if we don't, we will, as always, adjust on the fly.
Let's turn on the phone.
Yeah. Please turn the cell phone off.
Oh.
Okay, what book is it?
It's down, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
fellow Toastmasters, welcome everyone today to the Get Club meeting. There are only 6 of us, but I think we're going to adjust as always, as the nature is of a lunch meeting. A lot of times we get last minute cancellations. We had about 5 of them today, so we are missing some of our usual crowd. But I'm sure that we will adjust. And again, we have 2 great speeches today. Well, 1 great speech for sure. Here in Deer's Icebreaker. So with that, I would like to ask if we could please all rise, and I'm going to ask Adolfo to lead us in the invocation, and Beatrice to lead us in the flag salute.
Right. Thank you, Lord, for letting us be here today in this room and to allow us to improve in our public speaking skills, leadership skills, in our ability to help each other, encourage each other to always improve as you allow us to. For all that, thank you. Amen.
Place your right hand on your heart, and I pledge
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Adolfo. Now I'd like to introduce you our Toastmaster of the day, and also doing double duty as an evaluator, and probably anything else we could think of, because this guy has many, many talents and many skills. He has a vast toolbox from which to draw different tools to apply different elements. And he is our current Sergeant at Arms. So please welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Jesse Alvarado.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. It's been a pleasure being here with you. Us, what, 5, 6? The deal? We'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. With no guest. Well, good afternoon, Toastmasters. No guest. She's already a member, right?
I'm a member.
There you go. So then, Toastmasters, okay, an honored guest. We're going to start also with the meeting roles. And I want to call Roy Fisher for the mission statement.
The mission. We have a mission as Toastmasters. Our mission as a Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supportive, positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communications and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth.
All right, good job. There you go. And next, we're gonna call our ghost. No, it's not here, Elmer. So who's gonna do that? I'll counter. Who's doing I'll counter?
Wow. Do you wanna? Okay.
Okay, we're gonna call Beatrice for I'll counter.
I'm Gabriel.
I'm Gramelia.
I'll call it twice.
Okay.
As Toastmaster, you can choose also if, because of, last minute absences, you have the power to say that we can forego the word of the day just for this meeting and table topics and just go off of the timer's report for the vote. So you have that power.
If you don't have a word of the day, don't worry.
Yeah, so that way you don't feel like we have to come up with one at the last minute and put it on the order and all that. So you can say, as by the power vested in me by me, I choose to forego the word of the day for table topics and focus on the odd count or something. I've seen that done at other clubs in the past. So you have absolutely the right and the power and the privilege to do that.
Okay,
You feel it's gonna help with the meeting flow.
Yes, I think so. So we can eliminate the word of the day, is that what you're saying, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I call that now or maybe later?
You say that it's
So,
due to losses in the ranks, the word of the
Okay.
day has been, abdicated to next week.
Okay, move to
Abdicated
losses.
is the right word.
Anyway, we're gonna postpone or eliminate the word of the day so we can move forward with our Toastmaster, with the mission of the Toastmaster for today.
Thank you.
Okay, can we call Beatrice for our counter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to explain it. By now I should have learned it, but I need to say what's it. Okay, the purpose of our counter is to note words and sounds used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but. So, sounds may be as in You should also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means. That's it.
Okay, good job. There you go. I would like to call Beatrice again.
Oh.
She's grammarian for today.
Okay. I thought you called up the
Yeah,
role
we
is still there, the role is.
We can abrogate the grammarian for this week.
Okay, but just, okay, let it go.
Okay.
Deal. Now we're gonna call Adolfo Morataya for timer.
all right. Okay, we're gonna have two main speakers today. One is gonna be the icebreaker, 4 to 6 minutes. When you see the green, it means that you are okay. You can wrap it up right there. Yellow will be 5 minutes, and red will be 6 minutes. At this time, you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Now, Peter, I need to give yours 5 minutes. 5 to 7. Okay. On 5, you will see the green. 6 and 7 minutes, and then you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Now, 5 to 7 minutes. The table topics will carry 1 to 2 minutes. Yes, and at 1 minute, you will see the green. 1.5 and 2. You need only 1 minute to qualify. Otherwise. And for the evaluators, we're going to have 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 minutes for the evaluators, a green. 2.5 and 3 minutes. Okay. And that's important as we make a delivery or as we make a speech, as the content and delivery is important, the time is important. That's why we do that. Thank you.
All right, let's go.
We'll go back, Adolfo Morataya, the board corner.
All right, I collect the votes that you will use when you use this ballot. And for the 3 speakers that we will have today, the main speaker, table topics, and the evaluators. Thank you.
Good job. We have 2 speakers for today.
Yours should go first.
Yes, I'm just, okay. So we have two speakers today, and also we have two evaluators. And the first speaker is Indira, right?
Yes.
Indira, and the evaluator for Indira, which is, oh, you mean, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I guess. And this is
That is just the introduction for my speech.
for your speech,
Yeah,
okay.
You can do that.
And, well, I don't have
Let
everything.
me, I'm gonna transfer Mr. Toastmaster your
Okay,
information.
Toastmaster requires
This
assistance.
is the executive. No, that's exactly what you do.
You can read that one.
Which one? This one? Okay, the icebreaker, okay, executive summary. For your first speech project, you will introduce yourself to your fellow club members and give them some information about your background, interests, and ambitions. Practice given to your speech to friends or family members, and strive to make eye contact with some of your audience. You may use notes during your speech if you wish. Read the entire project before preparing your talk. Objectives: to begin speaking before an audience, to discover speaking skills you already have and the skills that need some attention. Time, 4 to 6 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
And, okay, I'd like to call Indira for your icebreaker speech.
Thank you.
Take over.
Hi judges and fellow Toastmasters. My name is Indira. I'm from India. And I am named after the famous very first woman president of India, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. And my name is such an icebreaker when I go to work. Every time I introduce myself, they ask me, oh, are you named after her, your Prime Minister? I said, yes. And from then onwards, our conversation takes on to a different level. We talk about India, and what I realized was most of them have either read about India or have personally been to India. And I come from a place called Hyderabad. It's the 5th largest city in India. It is very historical. Like it was founded in the late 16th century. It had, Hyderabad is known for its palaces, its monuments, museums, rivers, lakes, and whatnot. And I grew up there enjoying all those things, rich Muslim culture and a melting pot of different religions as well, like Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, you name it. We all were there in that Hyderabad. And I went to a convent school, grew up under the guidance of nuns, and I have tremendous respect for them because they have a heart for Jesus and they do everything that you see in Mother Teresa. I learned a lot of humbleness from them and humility. In India, I grew up having a very great childhood, and then when I grew up, I went to college, and then I met my husband, not at college of course, and I see God's hand in my life. In every event that happened in my life, I see how He backed me up. The way I met my husband was surely through His design. My husband used to be my neighbor when he was like 2 years old, and then his family migrated to Nigeria. And then when he was 20 years old, they came back to India. Not all of them, just him, to go to engineering college. And then for the first 3 years, I did not like him at all. I hated him because he did things out of the norm. Like in India, dating was not allowed, and he was dating left and right, you know. And he had the house to himself, his parents' house, and that's what I saw, and I didn't like him at all. After 3 years, what happened was everything changed because I saw another side to him, which was really very special. One of my nephews was suffering from leukemia, and he needed blood transfusion like every other week. So we exhausted everybody, all the relatives that were giving him blood. Then he heard about it, and he took time off from all his extracurricular interesting activities, and he went and donated blood to him. And after that, my nephew never had to have another blood transfusion. And he's like 27 or 28 years of age now, and he's free of leukemia, and he has 2 kids. And that triggered my interest in him, to look at him differently. And then he started liking me. Then at first I resisted. I said, no, this is not going to happen. My brothers will kill you. They'll kill me. And then what happened was he took it upon himself to convince all my family. At first, of course, they didn't agree to it at all. When I told my folks that he's interested, he wants to marry me, they said, no way. And then he went around to each of my sisters that were already married and my brothers, and he talked to them individually. He said, hey, I know you guys don't like me because of my lifestyle. I'm going to put an end to all that, and just for her. And then that's how we got married, to make a long story short. And then after that, he came to America because we had no jobs then in India. You would know that, right? So he came first, and after 10 months, I joined him. And then I see God's hand again on our lives because he got him a job and a sponsor. And it took us 9 years to get a green card. And then within that time, what I did was, since I can work, we started a family. So I have 3 beautiful children. My oldest will be 24 tomorrow, and my sons will be 22 and 20. So do your math. I'm here, and meanwhile I went to school here and became a respiratory therapist. And I love my job, saving lives, doing CPR, and managing them on ventilators, drawing blood, and all those things that I didn't know I wouldn't have to do, but I did anyway. I love America because it's given me freedom, it's given me opportunities, and most importantly, it gave me a relationship with my Almighty God. Thank you.
Shake my hand first before you go away. Thank you. Tell a joke. Tell a joke.
Give it about another 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, think of it. 30 seconds.
Go for 30 seconds joke. Let me share with you about taxes. Ready?
Okay.
Here's my uncle. My uncle was talking to a tax preparer about paying taxes. And my uncle tells the tax preparer, you know what? I always like to pay my income taxes all at once. Then the tax preparer responds to my uncle. He goes, but you know you have the option to pay taxes in quarterly installments. Then my uncle goes, yes, of course I know that. But my heart can't take it 4 times a year. That was my joke. You're supposed to laugh.
Come on.
Ready?
Not yet.
Okay.
RGB.
I can tell you, Joe.
Okay, fine, tell me, Joe.
Oh, he's gone.
There we go. All right.
Okay, and we have the next speaker. The next speaker is Peter, and who's the other? Adolfo, okay. The next speaker is Peter, and we have an evaluator, Adolfo Morataya. Can you please share with us a little about Peter's speech?
Peter will give an advanced speech trying to accomplish the purpose of the successful club series itself. The title of his speech is Evaluate to Motivate. Well, you can have the introduction. Thank you. It's 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, I'd like to, I have to read this.
Yeah, that kind of explains it.
Okay, here you go. Okay, the intro. Okay, the Successful Club series is a group of presentations that help to illustrate the various methods that a club can utilize to fulfill its potential. The module, Evaluate to Motivate, details the techniques that effective evaluators use to give useful feedback to the club speakers. Speech time 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, let's welcome Peter Gozer. All right, let's do it, Peter.
Everyone has the belief that Toastmasters is all about the speeches, all about standing up here and giving various speeches, whether they be manual, sales speeches, preparing for different elements of the real world outside of the walls of the club. But I've always held the notion that in many ways the evaluations are probably the most important element of Toastmasters. Because if all of us are just here to give speeches, just to talk in front of each other, but not get the feedback that's going to make us better speakers, make us better presenters, better leaders, and better communicators, then maybe we're not utilizing our time in the best fashion. So today, the Successful Club series has a module called the Evaluate to Motivate. And it keys in on some of the techniques that good evaluators will use and give to speakers to make them better speakers. Because that is the whole point. We want to get better at this. We want to become better speakers and better communicators. Only Beatrice will laugh at me. So, we talk about evaluations that benefit speakers. They provide immediate feedback. So in other words, right after you get done speaking in the same room at the same time, you're getting feedback on your speech. You also get offering methods for improvement. Specific, detailed evaluations are the most effective. They're the ones that say, here's what I would like to see you work on, and then here's why it's going to make you a better speaker. Here's why it's going to make your speech more effective. Perfect example is Scott Jonicucci with his humor speech. When he first gave it here, you could tell he was a little uncomfortable, a little fast. He wasn't really in tune with what was necessary to be effective humorous speech. But from all the different feedback he got from all of us, he was able to craft a speech that he gave at the contest that was terrific. Much, much improved because he got useful feedback from everyone. And then finally, building and maintaining self-esteem. All of us relate to feedback differently. I've become a little hardened because of guys like Bobby Canseco, who knows that he doesn't have to pad my ego. He can come at me and say, Peter, you gotta work at this. This has to get better, specifically. But I know when I first came to Toastmasters, if somebody came at me like that, I would have probably been like, wow, that's not gonna build me up. That's not gonna make me a better speaker. So it's being sensitive to each individual, knowing that different people respond differently to the feedback. And as we get more and more practiced at it, we can get more out of the evaluations that we get from people. So we talk about the tell and sell approach. When the evaluator talks and the speaker listens. And that talks about, it really requires the evaluator to do all the talking. So instead of it being a dialogue, it's really the evaluator saying this is what needs to be done. There's good dialogue that often happens after the meeting too. Like I'll talk to people that have given speeches, even if I'm not the evaluator, I might stop for a second, hey, I really like the way you did this. And people can give individual evaluations either on the ballots or just by talking after the meeting. So it doesn't just have to be the evaluator. But the purpose of the evaluation, as you'll see, is the evaluator gets up here and speaks directly to that individual. And it also allows the speaker to focus on what's being said. So you don't have a lot of different voices going on from different people. You can focus in on that one evaluator. And then the other thing I've noticed is it makes us better listeners. I know that there's times, I remember hearing one time, somebody said there's two kinds of people out there. Those who listen and those who wait to talk. And I realize that sometimes I fall into both. Sometimes I really want to get what I want to say out, and there's other times when I'm a little more attuned to listening. And I think that the evaluation portion, just like the ah counter, it really forces me to take a step back and really listen and to become a better listener. And God knows that's something that we could really use in all elements of society and economy. So let's look at how to evaluate effectively. Before the speech, talk with the speaker about, obviously, the manual objectives. What are the objectives, specific objectives of that speech, so you can focus in on those. And so it's not just a general, well, I really liked your eye contact, and your voice was great. Instead, you're looking at, okay, today's speech is about your body speaks. How were the gestures? Were they natural? Were they forced? Was I doing this a lot? Was I going like this? Was I clasping my hand? So it's focused on what that objective is, because there's a purpose for each speech. And we also look at evaluation guidelines. What are the guidelines specifically for evaluating it that you can do within 2 to 3 minutes? Because you don't want to be up here for 4 or 5 minutes running on, and that red light is staring at you. Keep it short and sweet, but keep it to the point. And then also, any concerns that the speaker might have. Like sometimes before a speech, I'll go to the evaluator and say, hey, let me know if I'm going too fast or I'm not taking that breath to kind of slow down, even if that isn't the objective of my speech. And then during the speech, obviously show you're interested. The evaluator that's looking at his watch, that's working on the iPad, checking the phone, nodding off, generally the speaker's not going to be real inspired by that. They want to know that the evaluator has their attention and that you're getting back the investment you're putting in by preparing the speech. That's very important, and obviously it goes without saying, but I think it helps if the evaluator does show that interest. Even if sometimes it's, even if the speech, I've given speeches that were so monumentally boring, I'm surprised the entire audience stayed awake, but the evaluator, nodded, maintained eye contact, and that kept it going. And then afterwards came up to me and said, Peter, make it more interesting. So there's a way to do that. Put yourself in the position of the speaker. This works in a lot of different ways. And I know Roy's talked about that in his travels. Put yourself in other people's shoes, other cultures' shoes. Put yourself in the position of the person up here. Understand where they're coming from. If they're experienced, if they're new, depending on what their approach is, it's very important to look at that. And finally, take notes. Obviously, jot down a few things. So you're not coming up here necessarily talking off the cuff. It shows that you're reflecting the things that you heard during the speech. And then during your evaluation, choose your words carefully. It's important to be to the point, not necessarily too harsh, not too easy. Keep it relevant. And relevant, I think, is a very good word because then it keeps all that excess verbiage out of the evaluation. Keep it simple, keep it to the point. Evaluate the speech, not the person. Whether you agree or disagree with the person's political beliefs, religious beliefs, anything, evaluate the speech. Focus on the speech. Generally, you don't see that too much in Toastmaster clubs, where you'll see those kind of conflicts come into an evaluation, but it does happen. And obviously, it happens outside of Toastmasters, too. So it's important for us, when we look at evaluating a speech, evaluate the speech, not the person. Finally, promote self-esteem. Pump the person up. Focus on the positive. Again, the feedback is important because we're not going to get better if we don't look at the things we need to improve at. At the same time, just the act of getting in front of a group of people and giving a speech is an act that a lot of people can't necessarily embrace very well. So the self-esteem part, especially for newer speakers, that's critical because it's going to keep them say, hey, I do have something to give, I do have something to share. As they said in the King's Speech, I do have a voice. And it's important for people to be encouraged with that. And then avoid being disingenuous. You know, if somebody is struggling with something specific, as an evaluator, it's your job to point it out. You don't want to go up there and say, oh, your speech was awesome, you were great, it's the best speech I ever heard, I can't think of a single thing to tell you to improve on. That never happens. I remember having to give an evaluation of Harry Ann at the open house. That's one of the hardest evaluations I ever had to do because he is a terrific, very energetic, very impassioned speaker. But there's always room for improvement. There's always ways to point out little things that you think would make it better. Not necessarily criticizing the speaker, but finding things that will take a great speech and make it even better. And that's what evaluation really is all about. So being disingenuous really doesn't serve the speaker. It doesn't serve them, and it's not going to serve the club as a whole because people are going to be like, well, if I'm not going to improve, how am I going to get better? Why would I come back? So in the closing, connect to your opening statement. One of the things Bobby talks about is making your evaluation speech a little mini speech of its own, a little impromptu speech where you take that evaluation, sandwich it between an interesting opening and a closing. And that does really stand out. It makes your speech even more effective, and it improves your impromptu skills as well, because then you can get up in front of a group of people and make it seem like instead of just a recitation of the things that the person needs to work on, it then becomes a little speech of its own. It becomes a little more entertaining. So that's a very good point. Summarize your key points at the end. Sometimes you run out of time. That element sometimes doesn't happen. For example, the red light's been shining at me for about 2 minutes now, and because of that, I probably should have summarized this a long time ago. And then third, give a personal story or example. Again, sometimes that's wishful thinking, because in 2 to 3 minutes, if you really want to give a good evaluation, you're going to run out of time. Good evaluators generally see the red light, go about 3 to 3 minutes and 15 seconds because you want to try to get everything in. A lot of times that can be a little bit ambitious given the time constraints that you have. And then encourage listeners, obviously, to apply what they've heard and what they've learned. That goes without saying. To get better, you need the feedback and then go out and apply it. So that next time, if somebody tells me, Peter, when you got up there, you were waving your arms around like a banshee, next time I give a speech, hopefully I'm not waving my arms around like a banshee. I've actually taken that feedback and incorporated it into my speaking style. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for listening to this. I'm going to do one more of these speeches down the road as part of the Advanced Leadership Silver or Bronze Series, ALB. And it really is a way to kind of bring some of the elements that we do in the club and specify them in a way that allows us to improve not only as individuals, but as a club as a whole. Thank you very much.
Okay, there you go.
I'm going to do that.
There you go. Hey, we need to have a clapping class.
Golf clap.
Okay, now we would like to have a timer's report.
Yes, Mr. Toastmaster. Timer report goes as follows. Indira Lasso spoke for 6 minutes, 25 seconds. She's 25.
Yes.
Peter Roses spoke for 10 minutes, 50 seconds.
What?
Excellent speech, unfortunately, you did not qualify.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm really not sure what the timing requirements were for the speech. So I just chose 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh,
I thought
you
it would
did?
take that long, but it didn't.
All right.
No, I was way over, so.
Okay, well, good job. Okay, now we'll well, there's, we don't have to vote because we know who the winner is. And so we're gonna skip the,
Skip the vote.
okay, also the table topics, right?
No.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then let's, I'm gonna call our table topic master for the day, Roy Fisher. Get it done. Good job. You're welcome.
Well, Toastmasters, lack of guests. Today, we kind of have a unique situation in that we don't have any guests and we only have a few people here. So that means guessing who's going to be called on is Minimal, right?
Yep.
Oh, and also we don't have anyone except Indira who's new, and since she's already spoken, we can spread it around. And so I thought perhaps, as I was sitting thinking about it, it'd be fun to do something a little more stressful than we usually do. What is happening tonight?
Debates, presidential debates.
Presidential debates, okay? How many of you are planning on watching those? You really should, if you're a Toastmaster, because the one thing that you will see is mastery of speaking for an hour without saying anything.
That's a good one.
There are actually techniques that are used, dodges and slides that are named in debating cycle and training to avoid saying anything.
Oh, God.
And
That's true.
so, but at the same time, convincing people that you're great. How's that?
Yeah.
So let's try this a little bit different today. So we will do as if we have hot topics for the election. Let's see, who's on our list? Hasn't been up here. Beatrice.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Beatrice, before I call you up, I'll give you a little prep time as you're walking time. What is your personal feeling about abortion? That's kind of a hot topic in this election.
Oh,
What is your personal feeling?
oh my
Are you in favor of it, opposed to it, right to life?
God. Oh, yeah, I would oppose that.
You would oppose abortion?
Yep.
Good. So what I would need you to come up on your topic will be to explain why abortion should be totally legalized.
Yep. All right.
Should not.
Should be.
Should be.
Should be legalized.
Illegalized.
Should be totally legal.
Illegal, not permitted.
Totally legal, totally permitted.
Yes, Beatrice.
So the total opposite of,
Not permitted, right?
no, permitted. Why
No,
it
he
should be
said-
allowed.
Why should be allowed?
It should be totally permitted. No restrictions.
I think
Should I
you're
give
right.
him all the power or take it back? Okay, can I have order in the house? I'm just kidding. Abortions, oh my gosh. I don't even know from where to begin, but I could say that it's a personal decision, because if a person is put, especially teenage pregnancies, and if they are put in these terrible predicaments, I would suggest that it should be a personal decision. Since Roy is forcing me to favor abortions, it's difficult, to think of the way media has put it, to all of us, and that hype about, you're killing, you're a murderer, and that kind of thing. So they instill that guilt in you and makes it difficult for these teenage pregnancies to make that decision. So I would think to prevent that they need education, first of all. I know I'm great. So to avoid pregnancies in the first place, and if you're grown up and then you don't want to keep that baby because you don't like that marriage or that relationship or whatever anymore, and for those reasons you want to have an abortion, then again it's left up to you. You have to decide about it, because I can't speak on your behalf. But if it has to be my decision, I could never make that decision to have an abortion, no matter what the situation is. So it's really difficult for me to, go on the other side of the spectrum and say, that I would stand for that. So in my heart, I will keep my baby no matter what. So that's about it.
Hey, all right, good job.
I don't know what I said.
The devil's advocate position.
Yes.
Feel-
Well,
As long as they put in a twist for this.
Are you against your own? Yeah, that's a great technique.
The challenge in life is that we all have beliefs that are basically unquestioned. Until you have the joy of going to another culture, which most of you have had, coming from other countries, you can see the differences between one culture and another. If you're born in a culture, until you get out of it, you really do believe the things without question. If you don't question, you don't know if you're right or not. Maybe there's a third option. Another hot topic that's going to be, in all likelihood, spoken about tonight is the upcoming war with Iran. Adolfo, what do you think about the war with Iran?
That's easier.
You a fighter?
With Iran.
And I think,
Oh, the timer. You need the timer. I can switch.
yeah, okay. And I think I don't like wars.
You what?
I don't like wars.
You don't like wars? Okay.
So they should be avoided at all costs. That's all.
Okay, then I need for you to come up and your subject will be why we should go to war right after the election.
All right. 2 seconds. Now good.
Big guns out.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor, Topic Masters. I'm gonna use the approach of not saying anything here, like you indicated, but I'm gonna try. However, I will say we should go to war with Iran because it's like a cleansing that we need in this world. We need to go to war. They probably have a bomb already, a nuclear bomb. They nuclear us, they nuclear Israel, they nuclear third world, and reaches us here, and we have a world that only few people survive. And what happens? We have a cleansing now. Finally, that's what people wanted. I think that's what people want. People want the cleansing to occur, and as sad as it looks like, so many million people dead. Well, look, we have again, the surviving people coming up and repopulating the earth, and the whole thing maybe is learned as a lesson. Would that be a good reason to go to war? I would say yes. Let's go for it. Thank you, Mr.
How are we doing on time?
It's 1 o'clock.
Good time to adjourn then?
1:10.
Okay, we'll stop at that point. Thank you very much.
Save those for like towards the election. You can do that again because that's
Interesting.
dilatory obfuscation. as they call it.
All right, good job, bro. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Okay, now I'm going to call a general evaluator, which is Beatrice. The vote?
Vote for the.
Oh, yeah. Go for
Okay, well, let's vote for the best tabletop speaker. Take a moment to do that. It'll probably take us like 10 minutes to collect votes.
You know what I mean? Let's get it. For you and it.
This is for speaker or?
For the table topics.
we can call for timely report, right? Or- And this is
For the tabletop.
in the grammarian report? We call it,
We
right?
won't have a merit report. Time report, we can call it.
Okay, can we call for timers report, please?
Yes, the timers were as follows. Beatrice spoke for 2 minutes, 11 seconds. And Adolfo spoke for 1 minute, 10 seconds, both qualifying.
Okay.
Right, do I get to say it? Oh, okay.
Okay, now, so we already voted, right? Okay, we'd like to, I'd like to call a general evaluator. Please welcome Beatrice. All right. Take it away.
Oh, yeah, oh my. Yeah, so good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
You know why we do the shaking hands? Can someone tell me why we shake hands and then we leave the place, and every time we have to leave the place or whenever we come up here? The reason why I understood is because if the Toastmasters calling over another person to take over this place, the lectern, so he's giving away power. That's how I see it. So keeping this in mind, I never forget to do it. If you notice, initially I used to just run away like that, and nowadays I stand because I'm giving back the power to him. So that's the secret. So then this way you never forget. So general evaluator is just what the name implies, right? So I'm going to evaluate, what my job is to evaluate the presiding officer, the Toastmaster, the table topics master, the table topics participants, and the evaluators. That's my job. So let me begin with whether we started on time or not. We did. First of all, let us give us a round of applause for all of us. We did a great job with wearing many hats, and I could feel the transition was really smooth, though we were small. I mean, this really puts us in situations in real life, and this is a good practice for us. So to wear those many hats, and I wanted like everyone's job, So I'm greedy, but I said, no, hold it, horses, stay calm, don't go on jumping and saying, oh, I want to be the president, I want to be the... So I said, be careful, take care of yourself. And so we started at 12:19, not bad. Then we had no guests, we have to work on that. So we'll have to do a little more of, talking to people. So that's where we're lagging, and we should step up to that. Regarding our Toastmaster, he is, we know, very, charismatic and dynamic, and I've seen him talking to people and really impressive. So give him a round. And despite, with the people we had in hand, we were able to do a good job. So that was good. And table topics master was very intriguing. Can I say that? Interesting? Okay, so of course our presiding officer, as usual, very enterprising, yeah? But with a very humble attitude. I don't know from where that comes.
Hard knocks.
So let's give him a round of applause too. And our evaluators, Adolfo, he wore many hats today, but he was able to do an excellent job. I was just admiring that. And I remember the first time I ever got to do the timer report. And for me, like, when I look at it, it looks so easy. And when it came to my turn, I was like, hey, this is a piece of cake, easy peasy, pumpkin cheesy, let me do it. But when I did it, oh my goodness, I was like all over the place, It really needs concentration, not someone who is distracted easily, Concentration, and then he was able to do that plus evaluate. Can you imagine that? So that was a good job, and I really love this, what we are doing here, because it's training me, unconsciously too. In the beginning, I was like, am I wasting my time? I think I got enough done, come on. But no, it's, It's not true. I've learned so much and I'm so excited about what we did. So overall, I think we did a good job, and our speakers were excellent today. I like this variation, but and it worked out really well. And Indira, I just really loved your composure. And
I'm sorry, Madam General Evaluator, I think we want to call on the specific speech evaluators also before
Okay.
we finish. Also,
Okay,
Jesse
okay,
and
okay,
as well.
right, yeah, sorry, I was hogging up all the time unknowingly. So let me call up the speech evaluators to evaluate the speakers. So let me call upon the first evaluator, Jesse. Jesse Alvarado. Come on, Jesse.
Okay, get the power.
Yes.
Oh, you're getting power from interest. It's awesome. Okay, being evaluator and also definitely improving my evaluation skills. I'm just new as interested in speaking and evaluating, but I do the best I can, and I would like to request maybe the experienced evaluators to, maybe at the end, share with you your thoughts about her speech. But one thing I like about her speech is that she was really sharing about her life, her religion, her culture, her passion about the spiritual, her religion, and also the relationship with the husband, how she met the husband, and she, allowing us to get to know her a little bit more and where she really stands in her life and her past. So what I like about her is that she really looked confident, even when she said she was not prepared. She looked really confident, and one thing I recommend is that she makes more eye contact with people, and just share with everybody her feelings and thoughts, but with all of us. And I think that definitely could improve. And my understanding is that when we speak, we use this area as a podium here to talk and speak rather than standing in the front. I'm not quite sure, but maybe you can have an opinion afterwards. But that's what I noticed, and that's all I got. I mean, I like to last 2 minutes, but I don't have a whole lot. But maybe, like I said, maybe you and Adolfo can help out and share with her. As me being an evaluator here, doing my baby steps as far as getting in the program with evaluated. But thank you.
Okay, may I call the next evaluator, Adolfo.
Right.
Well, Adolfo, take it away.
And I'll do the time. Okay. I got the time.
Evaluate to motivate. This is the title of Peter's speech, and it's a very appropriate and makes it easy to me as an evaluation of him to provide an evaluation.
Good.
So I have to keep up, particularly with the motivation part, right? So what I like about Peter's speech is Peter always had a good presence on the lectern, in front of the lectern when he gives a speech. This is a very appropriate subject for us here as Toastmaster members. We were listening to Peter in this subject. Now, Peter always has that quality where he's able to calm down everybody. I have noticed how in other occasions, in other speeches, whenever there is something kind of rough or handling, everybody wants to calm down. Peter comes in here, he speaks, and everybody listens, calms down. It's really, really amazing thing. And I don't know why there is a naturalness that Peter has when he talks, and he looks very professional. Very professional, not a beginner, but very professional. That is a good capacity, a good quality that you have. There is a negative part of it though, and that is when you calm down everybody, it can be work the opposite way too, right? You can calm down too much everybody, and it becomes monotonous. But I must say that in this speech, because you brought it, the content of the speech being how to evaluate and motivate, we were listening to it. I was very, very attentive to it, right? I have to motivate Peter after I do my evaluation, right? So because of that, in this occasion, I have seen that improvement that you have, where you were not at all, you were very active. You were trying to keep yourself enthusiastic with energy, and that's a great improvement. I must say though, that you need more improvement there though. I think it's like one of these things that myself, as an example, I improve in my level of voice that I used to have low, but still I have to improve more, right? It's even more what it has to be. So I would say the same thing. You have to keep pushing more, for more energy. And at the same time, more energy, because I know you wanted to have more energy, that you were giving us some examples how you want to move your hands like this, right? Well, I know that you wanted to get more energy rolling, and that's why you could do it that way too, right? I know that was a reason, but you have to work in putting your hands more on the side. There is a way to talk with energy where you don't have, the energy is within, right? You don't have to move like that to show energy. So how are you, just in the way you open your eyes, you can show the energy, and the tone of your voice, also the energy. So those are the things that you can show that energy that way, but you can refine the energy to show that way. But other than that, that's a speech that I hope I can live up to with this evaluation that I just gave. Thank you very much.
All right, so that's done with me. Now can I hand over the
Absolutely, you can.
to
Give
you?
me the power. Thank you. All right, good job. I'll take it. All right, give applause to people. Good job. And now I'd like to give the, I'd like to call a president. Mr. Peter Doses.
Thank you, Justin.
Good job.
We need to vote, right?
Yeah,
Did we have a timer's report with the evaluator?
Yes, the time reports. The time reports goes as follows. Jesse spoke for 2 minutes, 25 seconds. And Adolfo spoke for 3 minutes, 17 seconds.
Okay, so we do need to do a quick vote for best evaluator.
Both was fine.
So while we're doing that, while we compile the votes, just to incorporate some of the things that Adolfo was talking about, I'm going to tell a joke with my hands at my sides the entire time. So there was a man who had a talking dog. The dog could actually speak. And he brought the dog into a Hollywood talent agency and said, "You won't believe this, I have a talking dog. It's going to be the most famous performer in the history of Hollywood." The talent agent, naturally skeptical, says, "Okay, prove it to me." Guy goes, "Watch." He asks the dog, "What goes on top of a house?" "Roof." Talent agent goes, "Oh, come on. Every dog says that." "All right, let me try it again. How does sandpaper feel?" "Rough." Talent agent started to lose his temper, saying, "This is ridiculous. Every dog says that." Finally, the guy asks, "Who's the most famous baseball player of all time?" And the dog goes, "Ruth." At that point, the talent agent calls security, has the guy thrown out on the sidewalk on the seat of his pants with his dog right on top of him. As the guy's picking himself off, dusting himself off, dog looks at him and says, "Maybe I should have said DiMaggio."
Great exercise.
But you're right, that your evaluation was dead on, so I appreciate
Oh
that.
my God. That was too much.
So do we have the results of the voting?
I think Mr. Royce helping here. Okay.
So that we can pick the best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topics. And certainly we know who won the worst joke of the day. By default.
Jesse. I'm just kidding.
That was referring to me. horse walks into a bar, bartender says, hey, why the long face? Thank you, bro. All right, so first I would like to provide the winner of Best Evaluator and Best Table Topics, Adolfo Morataya. A two-fisted drinker if I ever saw one. One for each
Thank you very
hand.
much. Thank you very much.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, get a picture?
One picture? All right.
Whoa, that's good. Wait.
All right.
All right, thank you
Don't
very
put the
much.
Photoshop Brad Pitt's head on my shoulder. All right. And then winner today for Best Speaker, after a great icebreaker speech and a great illumination into her background and where she came from, and some great story, and I can't wait to hear more from you in the future, Indira Lazarus. Congratulations, well done. As the speaker, step over here so we can get a picture. All right, thank you. Good job, Indira. Okay, with that, everybody, we are going to continue to work.
Table topic?
What's that?
The table topic.
That was Adolfo as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think.
That's why I had.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had two.
That's right.
He had both. So again, let's continue to outreach to the people in the community. When we have, we had 6 cancellations in the last 45 minutes before, and that's the nature of a lunch meeting. But if we can continue to grow, bring newer people to the club, normally we would have 10, 11, 12 people, and that's a good number for a meeting. I've been to meetings that have 20 people, and it's almost too many. But you get, 12 to 15 is a good number to have a good meeting and get everybody involved. So, but at the same time, we want to continue to grow the club and continue to outreach to the community. So we want to utilize our planned open house on the 24th for that. And then also,
Can we have a
Yes.
meeting for the 24th after this?
yeah, we can
I have
have,
some material.
okay, yeah, we can do a brief one afterwards.
Okay.
I think you, me, Adolfo, and,
Oh, like whoever,
yeah, okay,
if they could stay back.
yeah,
Just for 10 minutes.
okay, that would be great. So if there's no other business, we'll call it adjourned, and
Yeah.
thank everybody, have a great afternoon.
Woo!
Appreciate it.
We're done.
Thank you, Robert.
Certainly.
I like the table. I think
That's my agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against what you
Yes, we will. Yep.
Just 10 minutes.